What's up guys? So I have been preparing this video in my mind for about a full day now, and basically it's about looks and their importance, and I think this is a good video for both genders and really just distill clearing out some myths out there. um, there's a lot of young viewers out there, and they are sort of naive to the world, and they're like, you know, confused about it. So they go on the internet and they're like, are looks important? Are looks the ending determinant? And, you know, I really think that now I've sort of uncovered more about the topic. So let's just get started. First and foremost, people are different. There's such a variety of different type of people. And so to pigeonhole or stereotype or generalize any large population is ludicrous. And that's one of the first things I've learned recently. You can't say for certain that everybody of any sort of large group or ethnicity or background will behave in a certain fashion. Even a majority, that in itself, you can't even say anymore, because there's such a variation even in like small differences. And the second big thing is that a lot of people will say one thing and do a different thing. And I'll give you an example shortly. But basically, a lot of girls will say looks are really important. And then all of a sudden, you'll see them hanging out with these people and dating these people who aren't that attractive. So what they say and what they end up doing, and what they end up marrying or uh, dating, it's completely different at times. Not always though. And so just to give examples on two of these initial points, Reddit is a huge example of how the minority, even if it is a minority, like, that doesn't mean it's a small group. Like, sure, like less than 1% of the average sampling of people will like manga or anime, or will be interested in and turned on by peculiarities that are different from the traditional sense. Like, they're attracted to overweight people and they're completely fit and attractive themselves. Um, but look at that. 1% of the 7 billion people on this earth is not a small number anymore. That's like what, 70 million people, um, and so like 70 million is not a small number. If you work out the math, you won't come close to even meeting 70 million people on this earth by the time you die, even if you started immediately from the birth and you dedicated your life to it. So the abundance is out there. You just have to find the options, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. So Reddit's a huge example. It's a community where people talk about different stuff on threads and stuff, and there's all these recent posts popping out with hundreds of people commenting, and there's one that recently came out which was pretty much a topic on what do you find attractive that traditionally most people don't. And there's hundreds of people commenting on these things that really just warmed my heart. Sure, some of them may have been not the most attractive. I mean, these are anonymous people commenting, but some may have been attractive and you might have been interested in them. And they were saying stuff like, I find obese people attractive. I find all these weird things attractive. I find nerdy people attractive, scrawny people, etc., etc. It just blew my mind and it warmed my heart. And it just reminded me of all these little clips that I've seen on YouTube of very attractive women. And sure, they may be the exception to a rule and they may be hard to get. But again, even that small percent, like, you just have to really find those people out there. In a world with 7 billion, small is not that small. And sure, you say this, but it's a lot tougher in the real world because, sure, those exceptions may be already, swarmed with people, but not always really. And sometimes you just have to believe and try because that girl just may not be approached because everyone assumes the opposite and they're like, oh, she'd never be interested. But I'll give you another clear example. There's this girl who was a host on a show called Attack of the Show. She was very beautiful. She's still around. Her name's Sarah Underwood, and what she likes in guys is quite strange. She says that like Channing Tatum is too good looking, and she's interested in these sort of overweight sort of guys because they remind him of her dad, and she loves these lovable, fluffy big guys. And when like asked why she likes these sort of peculiar people and not these traditional sort of good-looking people, she was like, oh, the Channing Tatum's too good-looking, and she likes all these sort of weird characters. And she quoted a few celebrities. I forgot their names, but one of them was overweight for sure, and she had a huge crush on this guy. And another one was like nerdy. You get the point. And like it's strange because like that's the whole point of this whole thing. Is like there's so many different people, and that leads to my third point, which is with that variety, looks and objectively rating someone on a scale of attractiveness is subjective. You'll see this in every sense of the word. If you see guys rating girls on bodybuilding.com or the subreddit on Reddit called Rate Me, where all these girls just post up pictures, you'll see a wide range of ratings from 6 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. By the way, the rating scale is sort of skewed because people weight it differently, because technically even though 5 should be average, people sort of grade it based off the 10 as perfection instead. So most people end up, rating a higher 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 than they technically should in terms of average. But, you see, the point is you see a wide range of difference from 5 out of 10 to 10 out of 10 to 2 out of 10 on the same picture or the same girl. And that just shows how beauty is subjective in the eye of the beholder. And sure, there are general trends in terms of traditionalism in what most people will find beautiful. But the point is there's so much variation in 7 billion people. Like most people they can't even comprehend what 7 billion means. Like you can't comprehend that. 1,000 people is ridiculous. If you literally just seeing 1,000 people in real life will blow your mind. 7 billion, crazy. And so the variation and peculiarities and distinctions in each person is different. Again, with Sarah Underwood, this girl who's a Playboy model, she has in what generally is traditionally the sense of a very good-looking body and high level of attractiveness in most sense. She likes these strange things. And so people are different, and you can't just naturally say this girl is attractive. And generally you may be right, but guarantee you there are some sane, normal people out there who will say she's ugly or not attractive or just mediocre, and that will really sort of change things. And sure, it's strange because I'll give you another example back to the first point. There's this girl on YouTube called Aja Dang. She is a Maxim model, and most people would traditionally call her fairly attractive. She has like tens of thousands of subscribers on YouTube. If you check out the, let me backtrack. All of a sudden out of nowhere, her videos stopped coming, and then after a few months she announces and you could already tell by her Twitter feed that, you know, she met this guy, and she'd been dating him for quite a few months, and you could tell she was like obsessed with him, because there's pictures, and they would play dress up for Halloween together, and all this stuff like on a daily basis, and you could tell she was obsessed with him based off how she spoke of him every day and the pictures and so forth. And this was this dancer who also has a YouTube with tens of thousands of subscribers. Now get this though, about roughly a year before that, she made a video, and basically it was about, do looks matter? And the first thing she says is, yes, they do. As a Maxim model, for sure they do. And she went on and on about how looks was important. Now there's nothing wrong with that. Like, sure, like a lot of people do find looks important, and generally looks are important in most people. And there's something that has to be said here though. But what people say isn't exactly what they truly want or mean. And in her case, her general sort of advice on, yeah, sure, looks matter, was sort of vague in that sense. Because what happens is that this guy, and if he ever watches this, his name's Brian Puspos, he's a dancer. He's probably going to be, I mean, I hope he doesn't get pissed off, and he understands this is more of a compliment, but in the traditional sense, his face is not attractive. But I guarantee you he's successful, he dresses very, very well. You know, he knows how to dress and groom himself. He's not like me. I've obviously, you know, gotten a lot of advice from my supportive viewers to, you know, work on my dressing. And, you know, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm working on it. But he dresses well. He knows how to choose his outfits, his clothes, his shoes. He grooms his hair. He probably wears cologne. He's that sort of guy, you know, with the watches, with everything just like groomed perfectly. The collared shirts, you know, you know, laid back, smooth, solid colors, and you know, necklaces. You would imagine him almost being gay, but he's not gay in the sense that I'm sort of generalizing here, knock on wood, but you know, a lot of gay people dress really well. And so, you know, traditionally he's not that good looking, but boom, here she is, and all of a sudden, you know, she makes a post on YouTube saying how this guy is, you know, in his life, and she's sort of closing down or changing her YouTube. So all of a sudden she stops making videos, and she posts a video, and she's like, oh, I have other stuff to do, this guy's in my life now, and I can't make videos the same way anymore. And yeah, you can tell that she was like obsessed with this guy. He was like literally like taking over his life, and like the way she described this guy, she was like, oh, he's so successful, he's so talented, he's so amazing, and so forth. And it's like, wow, like it's like there's so many different factors, and dressing well and grooming yourself is what this guy does. It's not just like the face you're born with. And if it was that, he like, no offense to him, but he probably would be screwed in certain ways because it's not traditionally that way. And that's all I wanted to say in a nutshell. So as always, like favorite, share this video with your friends if you find it helpful and you think it helps someone else out there. Subscribe so you can see my latest video. And that's literally all I wanted to say. So I just want to wrap it up with saying, you know, it's a tough world out there, and the general point is that if you're concerned about this topic or you're searching about this topic, it's like, why? Because like, what if you find out that they are important in certain ways? And I just want to wrap up this video by telling you guys that sure, looks are important, but that spans a great variety of different things, from grooming yourself and you know, wearing the clothes you do, to, you know, to smelling nice and what you're actually born with, and then going to the gym and working on that and improving on that. And there's a dramatic potential out there that most people don't realize for the transformations in your life. I've seen some of them where, you know, obese people turn into these huge bombshells, but it takes years and, like, you know, dedicated practice at the gym, you know, consistently. And the point is, like, there's such a variety of stuff out there. And the biggest point is that you have to be the best in every category and field that you can, from grooming to your fashion to your health to how you look aesthetically, to exercising in the gym and so forth. And all these things will come together, and you can improve in every single one of these fields tremendously. And so they are important, but you can do a lot to improve in these areas. Don't be the guy who just sits there and says, oh, they're important and I can't do anything to change it, and I was born with what I was born with, and I can't change my clothes because of this, and I can't, you know, change how I smell because of this, and make all these excuses and then don't do anything about it.
Looks are composed of many different parts. The main part being that, like, it's not just looks, it's basically your overall appearance. And appearance doesn't necessarily mean looking good, it just means the overall effect that you have at the moment. Having a suit makes you look more powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
Having broken down clothes that are torn and cracked makes you look not so powerful. Well, depends on how you wear them too.
Yeah.
Sure, you can change how you smell. There's all sorts of crap for that nowadays.
So basically, it's not something where there's nothing you can change. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm born this way. I can't change how I'm dressed or how I smell, or the fact that I haven't taken a shower in 20 days, or haven't shaved, or haven't gone to the gym, or can't work on my muscles, or all this stuff. And if you're one of those people out there who subscribe to this general stereotype that there's nothing I can do, I was born this way, I'm ugly, there's nothing I can change, I'm screwed, then the point of, you know, arguing over if looks does matter or not, it doesn't matter to you, because you've already subscribed to the fact that there's nothing you can change, and even if they do matter, there's nothing you can do about it. So that's all I really want to say, and I'll see you in my next video.